So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. We're here with Bears and Trees. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspires you guys to start the band, and what does the band name mean?
So we started the band when we were in school. Me and Callum have been doing music for a very long time. We met Nick in high school. And we started this really kind of not very good, more punky band just to like make very loud noise for our friends to mosh pit to. But we really enjoyed making music, and Callum went to college and met George doing music production. And from there we were just like, we really just want to make some good music effectively. Bears and Trees, we wish I had a better story, but we just got it from.
We spent weeks trying to come up with it.
We couldn't agree on it.
We went on a band name generator, and it came out with Bears and Submarines.
Uh-huh.
And we all kind of sat around and we were like, oh, that name's so dumb.
That's a dumb name.
What a dumb name. And then someone said, I don't even know who said it. Someone said Bears and Trees.
And Bears and Trees just came out of the let's make fun of bears and submarines by listening to things.
Right.
Bears and Trees just
The best worst name. So there we are.
That's interesting. We just used a band name generator and then came up with it from there.
Yeah, I wish it would.
We should have thought of a new name just because of the fact that it's not an interesting story.
It works.
Wait, can you tell us the name of your, just loud band that you just made in school?
Yeah. There's still evidence of it on the internet, so I don't know how good it is to... Would you like to...
Yeah, we were called the November Criminals.
The November Criminals.
Okay.
And that was after... that was like a history reference, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were studying... World War II in history, and that's what they called the German people who signed the Treaty of Versailles, is the November Criminals. Okay. And we just were like, me and another guy were just like, that's a cool name, and we just kind of used it. Yeah.
When you're 15, anything flies.
That sounds really cool to 15-year-old, yeah.
Sick. All right.
Yeah.
Also, about the old band, would you ever re-record any of the songs that you made, or are you just not?
Probably not.
Right, but on that note, we've taken a line from one of the older songs, and we reference it in one of our new coming out.
Yeah. The kind of hook of it is now going to be in a new song that's coming out.
It's still in our minds.
I think with the old band is the songs weren't bad, and they weren't they weren't very well recorded, obviously. But in terms of writing, they weren't that bad. But I just feel like they didn't really say much. They were just kind of us kind of getting to grips with how to write songs and what we wanted to write about and learning what a song was. And but yeah, I don't think any of them need to be recreated. I don't think they're very
I get that.
It's good, but re-recording them we wouldn't gain anything from it.
Yeah,
no. We can use our time better.
Yeah, we could just write better songs.
Okay, I get that.
That's understandable. So. So, congrats on your newest release, I Want to Feel Chaotic. How do you feel about the response you got to it, and why did you choose to drop all of the songs on it as singles?
So the response has been pretty mad.
Yeah. The response has been crazy.
We didn't expect any kind of... we don't expect anything ever, really. But this was a continued cycle of how are we keeping this going, which is very nice.
It kind of keeps blowing us away, really.
Mm.
Yeah, the first one came out on the 1st of January, and it was kind of like a whole new year, and everything just took a whole massive step up starting at the very start of the year.
Definitely. I think we chose them all to be singles because I think each one is it tells a story on its own, so to speak.
Yeah, they're all quite different. They fit together nicely, but they're all quite different sound-wise and stylistically.
Our last release, Icy Blue, they, as a collection, tell a single story. And they all are very sonically similar, and they sound very similar. But with I Want to Feel Chaotic each bit is its own thing that kind of comes together in an overall feel rather than like a specific story.
Okay.
For sure.
So speaking of that EP, where was your headspace at while you were writing it?
Oh, in the ground.
I Want to Feel Chaotic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lyrically in the ground.
Lyrically in the ground.
Musically, it was pretty fun.
I think, it's kind of like when me and Nick were writing the lyrics, I think all of them tended to be about very kind of like dark topics, because I think we were both going through very difficult transitions and a lot of things were happening that weren't very good in our lives. And I think we were trying to cope with those. And I think musically, we wanted to reflect that kind of like brighter, hopeful feel. We were really, obviously, because the lyrics can be really dark in a lot of places. I think we wanted the music to sound hopeful, like we'd found the end, we'd constructively dealt with it.
Yeah. And it's the brightest period we've been in as a band. It was the first time we could write songs completely we were all in the same place at the same time. We weren't like in three like different like cities in the UK, and we weren't like, we could actually all write all the songs in the studio all together at the same time, and it was like the nicest experience to be able to write that. Although the lyric content was dark, I think.
That's so cool.
That being in the same place at the same time meant that they kind of they came into a whole new realm of songwriting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. So, how do you feel about the growth that has happened from your debut to now?
It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
I think the growth is weird because like we've always grown, which is obviously really nice and really exciting for us. But there's never been like a massive step up. It's always been like a slow growth. So we don't really see it until.
Yeah. But then every now and again you take a step back and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, let's look at this. It's kind of
You look at where we were when we started, and like in regards to music, lyrics, and the growth in the band's kind of like platform. It's so starkly different. It's crazy how much it's improved.
And it's so rewarding to see like hard work pay off. And growth, which is so
for sure. But we're still the same. Like we still write a lot of our songs like just in like living rooms or bedrooms. Like I think like fundamentally that hasn't changed, which is kind of weird because I feel like a lot of people look in and they're like, oh, these guys must be like professionals.
Like,
we are far from professional.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process and how do you think it's changed since that first release?
Yeah, well, the lyrics come from these two, who Ian uses the same 4 chords and just writes lyrics over them and over and over. So the lyrics are just kind of their own entity. They're not a song yet. Yeah. And then they get brought to us as a band, and we read through them and work out what we want and what kind of feel do we want from the song. What do we want? Where do we want it to go? Kind of a rough idea of what we want. And then basically we just jam and we see what happens.
A lot of the time it comes out of just playing with our instruments and just going, oh, that sounds really nice. Let's see what happens if we do this.
Yeah, I think the process hasn't changed as such. Like we still have the same, we just get together and make noises until it sounds nice. Yeah. But nowadays we spend a lot more time on like certain parts in like asking like, what do we want this part to sound like? How do we want it to feel,
I think the difference is in the production. Whereas we still write the songs the same way. We will still present lyrics to the band and we'll try and work out how to make a song structure. But then I think it's mainly with George is just like made the songs so much better is taking that time to really fine tune everything.
Yeah, it's about kind of taking that song and producing it rather than just going straight from writing to recording to releasing. You take it from writing to developing production and just spend a bit more time kind of crafting it, I guess.
Okay. Wait, so you guys don't usually just go in and just play a song how you already have like an outline how you want it to hear? It's just usually a jam session?
Yeah, that's pretty rare. Like Rams of a Lunatic, Ian had.
Rams of a Lunatic, I just kind of like wrote a demo track to like the section of chords I thought were quite interesting. Similar to like Nights Like These, it was just I found some interesting chords. But for most of our songs, they come out of jam session. They're just like, oh, this sounds cool if I do this, and now we should change it. So we change it when we feel we need to.
Yeah, like lyrically, it's always just like notes pages on our phones.
Yeah,
and the lyrics are just often just lists of what like it's not split into verse or chorus. It would just be like a poem. It's like taking a poem and making it into a song,
Wow,
and rather than.
Cool. Oh, okay. I thought you were going. Okay. So what artists do you think you can hear in your music, if any?
What can we hear personally?
Yeah.
Well, I think I personally hear kind of like you've got in terms of lyrics, you've got influences from like Fall Out Boy. I can definitely hear the Front Bottoms and those kind of like American more emo bands. But in terms of sounds, we take a lot of inspiration from like a lot of UK indie artists like Dodie. And then also I would say all the way to like the Wombats and the kind of like places we gain a lot of our musical inspiration. That's what I would probably say where I hear it.
Yeah, there are a few bands who we all actually like, and there are like maybe 4 or 5 bands who we actually all agree we listen to regularly.
Yeah.
And the rest we all just have our own interest in like various different genres. And I think you can kind of hear that come together in a weird kind of way, where someone will take an idea from a different genre and it will be brought in to try and create our own little genre, which is Bears and Trees.
We defy genre because we all listen to just widely different types of music.
So Gloria,
I wanted to ask this. Wait, so you mentioned Dodie. What other like music do you guys listen to? Because you all have separate like tastes in music.
So me and Ian listen to a lot of like emo, kind of pop punk, kind of heavier music, but also like hip hop, rap, R&B.
And I think you listen to more R&B, and then I kind of diverge from you by listening to a lot more folk, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But we listen to and then
I listen to like a lot of Dodie and Orla Gutland and that kind of area. And also I'm a massive musical theatre nerd, and also studied classical music at university. So I also have that side of classical music and opera on just to add to the side of all of the rest. And then George is
I guess I'm kind of like indie pop, nice, sparkly, twinkly sort of things. But then like sometimes slightly heavier stuff, sometimes slightly more electronic-y sort of stuff. And like I do like music production, so I guess I just kind of take ideas from anywhere I kind of hear them and try and sort of weave them in places.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how. Yeah, I think we all just kind of take loads and loads of artists. There's a lot. We listen to a lot of music.
So Gloria's dead set on me asking this question. Can you tell us a little bit more about that album, Bits and Pieces? Because I always find the short albums to be super interesting. So I want to know like what. Yeah.
That was it was in a coffee shop.
Me and Callum were just meeting up in a coffee shop
in Southampton.
I think I was talking about how albums just suddenly, I don't know when we were talking about it, they suddenly started to include interludes a lot more. And we were saying like how interesting it would be, especially because we're spending so long apart. We all went to, me and Callum went to the same union. Other than that, we went to different unis. But we were having such different lives, and then being able to write a load of really small songs to create a big collection that kind of made a more collage-y attempt at making an album was really interesting. And we all kind of like, sometimes we came together and we wrote some songs together, which like Empty Space and
Inside Out
and Fire, which isn't actually on Spotify. But then some of them would be, me and Callum would just go to his house and we would just record vocals. George would just make like electronic beats.
Alphabetical, and I don't know, I just did on my own, I think. And then some.
My favourite is Getting a Call from Alfred, which was a phone conversation we had on a rooftop in Southampton at like 3 a.m. after a night out between me, Ian, and George, and someone we knew called Alfred.
And then Callum plays the flute over it.
Yeah,
it's just
like
it makes it spooky. They have really just like a meaningless phone call or an arbitrary phone call.
But they're all like really, really super compressed stories from like I guess like the middle of our university lives, which I think is really, really sweet.
And then we took Don't Drink Coffee. That was written for the purpose of that kind of little album. But I think we just liked it so much we kind of we made it into more of a production and then put it as an interlude on Icy Blue.
But I think Bits and Pieces is a really nice bridge between Let's Sleep on it, which feels a lot more kind of about like late adolescence. It's kind of a very kind of adolescent album, and then it shows this nice transition towards Icy Blue as a project. I think on New Era.
Wow, solid. Yeah. Also, about A Call from Alfred, if I got that right. Yeah. Why were you guys on the roof? Like, just chilling. Just
we were. It was a heavy night out. I just got out of club, pretty much. And
I was like, hey guys, I know there's a really cool spot where there's a really great view. And these guys were like, oh, that sounds great. Amazing. Like, we should go do that. And then I take them this, effectively like a flat complex that had this huge scaffolding up the side. It was like And they were just like, and I knew there were just like ladders all the way up. So I was like, we just got up here. And they were like, oh, what? And I was like, no, trust. We go up the ladders, and there's this like this beautiful platform up top where you can see like, it's in Southampton, so you see the dock and the sea, and like you see the lights shining off the sea, and you see the city that's now at night time is just like the silence of what was a bustling city, and it's this really beautiful kind of like ending moment I found.
It was
it was
lovely.
It was so beautiful, but I was also slightly scared.
Terrified. They were terrified. I climbed.
It's just a building site at the end of the day. Like, on me. So, yeah.
All right. Well, good to know. So, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while listening to your music?
We talk about nostalgia.
A lot of people say nostalgia, definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a combination of nostalgia, catharsis, and hope. I think those are the three we try and like get across. Like looking back and enjoying the stories that happen, trying to process kind of the sadness and the darker thoughts in a way that kind of gets them out and feels like a community kind of getting through all these kind of darker thoughts, and then also hopeful that everything can get better and you can think about these in a healthy way and you can eventually become a healthier person.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So since shows can't be played right now, how are you guys like connecting with your fans during this weird time?
We have a Discord server which has over 1,000 people, which is really cool.
Like our own little band forum.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
So we do weekly games nights on there, which is really sweet. We just play Pictionary pretty much. It's awesome.
I think in some ways it's been quite good that it's kind of made us work out other ways to interact with fans and stuff. And we didn't gig all that often before lockdown.
Yeah.
And I feel like now we're doing more than we did before lockdown.
Yeah, we decided
it's been a good thing.
We would like when lockdown started, we were doing weekly live streams, and we were really like pushing like that kind of really integrating that live kind of side through the internet somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good for us to do it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's only like we've only confirmed our first tour this year, and it's the end of the year. So yeah, we weren't very live before.
Yeah, before we would, like when we started, we'd be playing like a few dive bars around our local area, Croydon. And then we slowly started playing London shows, but for the most part it was just to our mates, and then slowly we started seeing fans come. We've got a large fan base kind of in America and in other parts of the UK which haven't been able to see us yet, so we're about to start tour, which is like a whole new kind of chat.
That's a big deal though.
Yeah. Congrats on that. Wild.
Thanks.
Can't wait.
So do you guys have a dream venue that you're trying to hit?
I would love to. My dream venue is so you have the O2 Academy Brixton, which is like this big, I think 5,000 capacity venue in South London. And when we were growing up, all our favourite bands were through there. So we saw like All Time Low, Sleeping with Sirens, You Me at Six, the Wombats, like pretty much any big band you saw there, Mayday Parade. So yeah, just to be on that stage would be ridiculous.
It would be crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a huge stage.
Yeah.
I personally think that would be really cool, but I do like the really intimate gigs. I like smaller stages generally, and like any small stage in America would be great. That's kind of the goal.
I want one of those shows where like you see people like jumping up onto the stage, like crowd surfing off the stage.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's like
Nick. Yeah.
Okay. So I know you guys said you don't play shows very often, but when you did play shows, what were your top 3 songs to perform live?
Ooh,
That's a thinker.
That's a good question. This is all getting us thinking.
Good Rights for Bad Songs definitely has to be up there, because
Probably
that's on paper our most popular song, like in terms of Spotify streams and stuff. So everyone knows the words, so everyone gets behind it, and it's really lovely to kind of really get into it.
yeah.
I really like playing Sing Pretty. I think that one always goes well. I mean, like,
It's
gets
a dance
people going.
machine.
Yeah.
I think
And I Am Cold, I think, is along those lines of, it's quite easy to play. It's like it's basically 2 chords the whole way through. So on our part, you don't have to think about it too much. You just
Yeah.
put it down and you just go. It's great.
I love so we didn't. It wasn't that we didn't play live very often. We did play live quite like a little bit, and every time I did, I loved it. We loved it because we can have such energy and like we get an entire like crowd to do it. And we did one acoustic gig where we tried to play Iron Cold, but we didn't have a synth, and there's a big synth line at the end, and then we just had like a crowd of people just shouting the synth line at us. We're jamming it, and it was just so crazy, so nice. And then this other time when we were doing it, what's it called? Good Rhymes. We were in the top floor of this quite rickety vegan cafe, and we had like loads and like a good amount of fans, a good amount of friends. But we were told like from a certain point towards the stage, the building wasn't very stable, so you weren't allowed to dance from like that point on. And so we were like, told everyone, but it's really hard because our music gets everyone dancing and gets the energy. But with Good Rhymes, what we always kind of do is we get before the last chorus, we get everyone to get like low, and then we all would jump up for the last chorus and dance, and we had the entire building like properly shaking. It was quite it was just shaking. It was crazy because we were like jump up, but like go mental within reason.
Yeah, don't make the building collapse.
Exactly.
Yeah. You see like the sound engineer's face just going white the minute we tell everyone to get down.
The building is still there. It's all
good.
Yeah. You guys didn't make it collapse. All right, that's good.
Yeah, you guys weren't there last show.
All right.
Wait, so did they basically just say, okay, so just you guys can dance and whatever, just don't go that hard, or else the building will collapse?
I think they normally had like it's a vegan cafe, and friends were putting on this show, and they said, "Do you want to play?" And normally, I think they have acoustic acts in this place, or like kind of like a man with his guitar, someone with that kind of thing. And they don't normally have bands, drum kits, and all that sort of stuff, so they weren't quite sure what to expect.
We walked in and they had like set out like rows of seats.
They set out like it was chaired out. We were like, people aren't gonna want to sit down.
So we were like, oh hey, can we like remove these? And the guy was like, what?
We just put all these out.
They were really lovely.
They were fantastic. They were some of the nicest people in there. They were so accommodating. They just wanted to make sure their like not-for-profit vegan cafe stayed standing.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And we did everything we could to make sure it did.
So where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
Oh, who knows? How long till lockdown ends?
Hopefully, still alive and kicking.
Well, definitely.
I think it's impossible to know because we keep kind of being surprised by our growth.
Yeah.
And like I guess we don't expect it. It's just nice when it happens.
I think just to be doing bigger and better tours.
Yeah. Just to like carry on going and just
spending more time writing songs, producing like interesting works, collaborating with like artists that we admire. Like not even like super famous like people, but just like cool producers and like different people. Just like
because right now we all have jobs or we're at uni, so this is all like when we get the time.
And like we write and almost completely produce our own music all by ourselves, and it'd be nice to just kind of like get more of a team going and having like a more diverse, like having someone to do videography for us and like grow as a band and like as a group and collective.
Yeah, for sure.
As well.
Wow.
Alive.
Yeah. So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift away from music and we're going to go straight to death row. So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Wow. I was so confused by that transition.
I was like, can you have an all-you-can-eat buffet?
Yeah, go for it.
And like just keep going.
Yeah.
But if that counts, then all-you-can-eat buffet, like all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet, would be my choice. But if not, it would be like some like noodles and like some like sweet and sour chicken or something. That'd be more.
All right. Wait, do you have a drink?
A drink? Oh,
a drink.
Chocolate milkshake. Chocolate milk.
All right. Wait, would that go well with the Chinese food?
Chocolate milk goes with everything.
All right, that's fair.
He does think that milk goes well with the Chinese food.
Oh, okay, that's a new one. All right, sure.
Mine would either be like a margarita pizza because I'm like that, and I think it's the best type of pizza ever, or like like a lasagna, like a really homely, well-made, probably lasagna actually, like a really well-made lasagna. And for a drink, I would probably drink rum and coke until I didn't have to know that I was going to death row.
I think mine would be a nice lamb steak with some like creamy potatoey stuff. With you gotta have dessert as well. Gotta have profiteroles.
Okay.
Good choice.
Greatest food.
I would also have profiteroles. You are right there.
Yeah. With a nice glass of prosecco.
Nice.
Ooh.
Very fancy. I want like fresh lobster from the Red Sea. It's like a meal I've never had before. Like I can just, I'm assuming they're going that way.
Bankrupt, so they can't play.
I want a gold leaf over the top of it.
Honestly. I want like a 12-carat spoon. Drink-wise, I just got an Oreo milkshake to really freak
An
out.
Oreo milkshake.
Oh God, ew. Okay, all right. So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
This is really
That's
hard.
Do you? I need some clarification. So, if you're in the fiction, like, say you pick like a magical one, are you just you, or do you get magical powers as well?
You can get magical powers. Yeah.
Now that's even more of a tough decision.
Okay.
I would be in the universe of like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be really cool because they have some really cool stuff in that book and film series. I would just like love the dramatic irony happening throughout.
I want to be. Okay, so this is because I want to know how he feels. Have you all seen SpongeBob?
Who hasn't? Bruh.
Okay, so I'm not SpongeBob. I want to be the guy in most SpongeBob episodes who shouts, "My leg."
You want to be that guy?
Oh my God.
My leg guy.
Yeah, I want to know what his life is.
All
You
right.
got a point.
Okay.
I never thought about that.
I think I'd like to be in Toy Story.
Would you be a toy?
I'd be a toy.
Would you be someone trying
I'd be a toy. That'd be fun.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
toy?
I'm thinking big.
No. I'd be a little toy train.
Oh,
little like
It's
Yeah.
adorable.
wholesome.
All right.
the little George fan.
Nice.
I think I want to pick a Disney movie, maybe like The Incredibles.
Ooh.
It had like it could be like a cool power.
Mm.
Mhm.
Like
But then, like, wouldn't the law wouldn't everyone hate you?
no, but in the latest Incredibles, it's The
Oh, yeah,
Incredibles
yeah,
2,
that's a good point.
they're finally getting swallowed out against The Incredibles.
Exactly.
All right. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and everyone we've spoken to has said the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Orange.
Oh, I was going to say orange.
Oh
You can have the same favorite color.
no, we can't have the same
No,
favorite
you
color.
can't.
No, yeah, orange. I always just instinctively say orange, whether it is or not. That's my answer.
All right.
Orange.
Purple for me.
Yeah, mine would be kind of like blue/turquoise, like between those two tones,
Mm-hmm.
right in that gap.
Oh,
Spicy.
right
And this is the
Alright.
most important question.
Ultramarine, aquamarine, that
Oh.
colour.
All right.
Solid.
Very precise. I'm an artist.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you have a hex code.
Specifically on like hashtag F63. No.
Oh my God.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Plug. Oh, it depends when this is coming out.
Probably a couple weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a new single out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
At the end of August.
At the end of August, hopefully.
Oh yeah,
But-
it should be out by then.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Perfect.
So if you're hearing this, then maybe we've announced it by now. Maybe we haven't.
There's a new single coming at some point.
All right, that's exciting.
All right, solid.
All right. So thank you for sitting down with us. This has been Bears and Trees, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.